Hi, dear students. Welcome to Social Science online class. Let us see the fundamental rights of citizens. Fundamental rights provide the social and political atmosphere necessary for the development of personality of citizens. Fundamental rights are required for a person to lead a civilized life in society. They are also essential for the success of a democracy. There were 7 fundamental rights mentioned in the third part of our constitution. However, after the 44th Amendment, the right to property has been abolished. The 44th Amendment of 1978 removed the right to property from the list of fundamental rights. At present, we have 6 fundamental rights. Right to equality. Right to equality is very essential for the success of democracy. Under this, all citizens are equal socially and economically before the law. All are equal before the law and nobody is above the law of our country. All should get equal protection and none should be discriminated against on the basis of their caste, religion, gender, or place of birth. No citizen should be subjected to any restrictions with regard to access to shop, public restaurants, hotels, places of public entertainment or public place of worship. Under the right to equality, untouchability is an offense. This right has enabled every citizen to get an equal opportunity to join government service. Right to freedom. It is one of the important fundamental rights. Under this right, one who expresses his own opinion to conduct meetings without arms, to establish organizations, to live anywhere in India, and to follow any professions and move around the country. It is a protective right and no one can be arrested without a proper reason. No state law can snatch the life and freedom of a citizen. Right against exploitation. The aim of the right against exploitation is to prevent exploitation of women, children, the poor and the weak. Beginning the Devadasi system, The practice of sati, immoral activities and forced labors have been prohibited. Employment of children under 14 years of age in mining, industries and other dangerous occupations is punishable under this law. Right to freedom of religion. Since India is a secular country, no religion has been given the status of a national religion. Citizens can accept any religion that their conscience detects, practice it and propagate it. There is no state religion in India. All religions are treated equally in our country. No one can be forced to pay taxes for the management of religious institutions. Use of religious places for political and other activities has been prohibited in the country. Cultural and educational rights. All citizens of the country have their own language, script and culture. It is the duty of the state to protect them. Cultural and educational rights protect the interest of religious and linguistic minorities. No one can be denied admission in a government aided institution or institution run by minorities. Right to constitutional remedies. The Constitution has not only given fundamental rights to the citizens of India but also guaranteed them under Article 32. Whenever the rights are violated either by a person or state government or the central government, the citizen may appeal directly to the Supreme Court for their protection. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has called this right the heart and soul of the Constitution. If any individual or the government at the central and state appear to violate a person's right, he has the right to approach the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is empowered to enforce the fundamental rights. Hence, it is called the protector of fundamental rights. High Court have the power to pass many writs under Article 226 to protect the rights of citizens. The most important among the writs are habeas corpus. The order passed by the Supreme Court or the High Court to produce a person within specified time frame is called habeas corpus. This protects the individual rights of a person. Mandamus. When the legislature, executive or any other subordinate institutions fail to perform certain duties or works, the Supreme Court or the High Court order them to perform these works. But the orders cannot be passed against private individual, government or the president. Prohibition. When a subordinate court passes a judgment beyond its jurisdiction or judgment is against the sense of natural justice, the higher court pass the order against such judgments. This can be passed against the lower court by the higher court. Certiorari. When the subordinate court pass judgments beyond their jurisdiction or against the sense of natural justice, the High Court orders the submission of records related to that judgment to it. This order is called as certiorari. Co-warrant. The order directing the right person to occupy the right public office is called as co-warrant. The order is passed against persons who hold public offices illegally by the higher court. Public interest litigations can be filed in court in order to protect the social rights denied to citizens and to protect public interest. Public interest litigations can be filed for the purpose of protecting legal rights, rights that are essential to protect life and to protect environment from being polluted. These public interest litigations can be filed by individuals and social institutions. Fundamental duties. Rights and duties are the two faces of a same coin. Rights without duties have no values or significance. 10. Fundamental duties were included in the fourth chapter, part A of Article 51A with the 42nd Amendment to the Constitution. With the 86th Amendment in 2002, there are 11 fundamental duties. They are to respect the Constitution, national flag and national anthem, to follow the noble ideals that inspired our national struggle for freedom, to protect the integrity of India, to defend the motherland when called upon to do so, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India and disown those rituals that go against the dignity of women, to preserve our rich heritage, to protect and develop environment including forest, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and show compassion to animals, to develop the scientific temper and spirit of equality, to safeguard public property and to abstain from violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activities. The parents or the guardians should provide an opportunity for education to their children from the age of 6 to 14 years. Unlike fundamental rights, there is no protection from a court of law with regards to duties. However, there will be punishment under the law for those who violate their duties. Directive principles of state policy. With an aim to establish a welfare state, certain directive principles of state policy have been incorporated in the Constitution under fourth part from 36 to 51 articles. These principles serve as guidelines to the state. The framers of our Constitution were inspired by the Irish Constitution to include such directive principles. These directive principles are in the form of directions to the state and central governments. Through these policies, the government intends to provide social, economic, and political justice to the citizens. But these principles are based on ethics. So, if the governments, central or state, do not implement them, they cannot be questioned in a court of law. These principles are socialist and liberal and have been based on Gandhian ideals. Any individual or party that comes to the power has to rule keeping these principles as guides. Hence, these directives are called principles. Directive principles are to provide adequate means of livelihood to all citizens, to prevent the community wealth and resources from becoming the private property of a few people, to provide equal pay for equal work to both men and women and protect labor welfare, to provide public assistance to those who are old, sick and weak or helpless, to implement a uniform civil code throughout the country, to provide opportunities for the development of health and preschool education to all the children below 6 years, to protect historical monuments and maintain places of historical interest, to separate the executive from the judiciary, to protect international peace and to respect international law, to establish Gram Panchayat, to encourage rural and cottage industries, to organize and develop agriculture and animal husbandry on modern lines, to ensure prohibition of liquor, to ensure development of farming based on scientific methods. These directive principles of state policy are important. They aim to achieve social welfare. While fundamental rights relate to an individual, the directive principles of the state policy relate to a whole community. The central and state governments are making attempts to implement all the principles. These principles aim at holistic development in India. They are the indicators of holistic development of India.